Hi everybody. Now in this video we are going to discuss about the ecosystem chapter, and from that we are going to discuss about the common biogeochemical cycles. So today in this video we are going to discuss about the phosphorus cycle. So this is also a very important one. In the previous video we studied about the carbon cycle. Now we are going to discuss about the phosphorus cycle. There are some important questions that are framed from biogeochemical cycles. So we have to be very careful while we are learning these cycles. Now here the first point that we have to remember when we are discussing about the phosphorus cycle is that it is mostly used as phosphate. Remember that the phosphorus that is there present available in various ways, it is mostly used as the phosphate. It is mostly used as the phosphate. Remember this. Phosphorus is mostly used as phosphate. That's the first point we have to remember as we go for the phosphorus cycle. Now here when we look at the importance of the phosphorus, the importance of phosphorus. Now it is the phosphorus is a component of nucleic acids. Phosphorus is a component of nucleic acids, means in the DNA compulsorily what is there now? Phosphorus, as we say, phosphate, phosphate, which is helping in formation of the backbone of the DNA. Of course, now here that's why we should remember here now the phosphorus is the most important component of nucleic acids, and it is also they present as biomembranes as phospholipids. In the biomembranes means in the cell membrane. In the cell membrane it is there present as what now? Phospholipids, phosphorus, phosphate we say. It is there even in the cell membranes of the cells as phospholipids, existing as phospholipids. So it is there in nucleic acids, it is there as phospholipids we are saying. And it is also important here that it is involved as cellular transfer system as ATP, adenosine triphosphate we say. It is involved as the most important cellular transfer system. In the cellular transfer system as what? ATP, adenosine triphosphate. So what is that phosphate? It is nothing but phosphorus. That's what we said. In the phosphorus cycle we should remember that it is mostly used as what? Phosphate. So ATP is very important one in our body, which is the storage of energy. Energy is stored in the form of ATP we say, adenosine triphosphate we are saying. And now the next one, in the body structure, in the body structure, phosphate, or otherwise directly we are calling it as phosphorus, it is also there in the shells of different animals, shells in the bones and even teeth, shells, either it is bones or teeth, all these are having what now? The phosphorus, is having the phosphorus. So another point, these are the importance of now the phosphorus. Metabolic reactions, the sum total of all the reactions that are taking place in our body are called as metabolism we say, anabolism, catabolism we say. So the end product is what now in the metabolic reactions? Energy. So food will be undergoing metabolic process, metabolic reactions to release energy. So in formation of energy also phosphorus is very important. Phosphorus is very important. Please remember this, the importance of phosphorus now. It is there as a component of nucleic acids, in the phospholipids, in the phospholipids, in the formation of the ATP, cellular transfer system, that is ATP, shells, bones and teeth, and also in the metabolic reactions it is present. And now we will see now other simple points regarding the main sources. What are the main sources to obtain this phosphorus? From where are we obtaining this phosphorus? Because already we said that this particular chemical is very important in all these ways. So from where can we obtain this is the question now. So we can, the main sources from where we can obtain this is from the reservoir pool. From the reservoir pool. Reservoir pool is a place where it is present abundantly. It is from the reservoir pool the chemical, it is carbon or the phosphorus. When we say it is the reservoir pool, it is from the reservoir pool, it will be entering into what now? The cycling pool. So it is the main source of phosphorus is the reservoir pool, that is rocks, phosphate rocks, the rocks which are containing the phosphate rocks we are saying. And the next one, as we said, from the reservoir pool it is entering into the cycling pool. So cycling pool Now it is the soil. Okay, soil is now containing so much of phosphorus, as phosphate we say, for terrestrial ecosystems. For all the terrestrial ecosystems, soil is the one which is providing the phosphorus, in its cycling pool. Likewise, even the water, it is for aquatic ecosystems. So here the cycling pools, if you are seeing, okay, soil and water. Soil for all the terrestrial ecosystems, it is providing the phosphorus. Water for all the aquatic ecosystems, it is providing the phosphorus. Okay, so here one more point or some other points that we have to remember. Small amount of phosphate is always added to cycling pool. Okay, small amount of phosphate is always added to cycling pool. Means what? The soil and water. So always it is continuously added to the cycling pool. Means phosphate is added to the water. Phosphate is added to the soil. How it is added? It is by weathering of rocks. Okay, it is by weathering of rocks. Because of it is a slow process. Remember, weathering is a slow process where because of the wind, okay, slowly the rock will get, okay, disturbed, broken into small pieces, which will be containing what now? Phosphate. Okay, which will be containing the phosphate. We should remember. So slowly this phosphate is in a very small amount. It is added to the cycling pool. Okay, cycling pool means either into the soil or into the water. We are saying. Okay, by what process? By weathering of rocks. Okay, by weathering of rocks we are saying. And this phosphorus is generally found in the combination with calcium and also iron and also aluminium. It is also present generally with what? Calcium, iron and aluminium. So let us remember that it is generally found in combination with what now? Calcium, iron and aluminium. Okay, and aluminium. Remember, this point is an important point. It is generally found in combination with calcium, iron and aluminium. But very interesting and simple points that you have to make note here. Okay, regarding the phosphorus cycle. Okay, regarding the phosphorus cycle. Atmosphere or gaseous cycle is absent. Okay, atmosphere or gaseous cycle is absent. Very important point. You have to remember. Okay, there is no cycling process through which the phosphorus will be moving or recycled through what? The atmosphere, or otherwise what we call them as gaseous cycle. Remember that. So atmosphere or gaseous cycle is absent in phosphorus cycle. Please remember, phosphorus will not be recycled through the atmosphere or any other gaseous cycle. Remember this. Okay, that's the point you have to make note. And circulation in lithosphere as well as hydrosphere. Okay, so how it is now circulated? Circulates in lithosphere as well as hydrosphere. Lithosphere here in simple, we can say the layers of rocks. Okay, layers of rocks. So it is there present in the rocks, means which will be undergoing weathering of rocks, and from there it is entering into what now? The soil for terrestrial ecosystems. And now that's why we should remember that this phosphorus circulates in lithosphere as well as hydrosphere. Hydrosphere means water. That is nothing but for all the aquatic ecosystems. And now the other point is that aquatic habitats. Remember, this is another point which is very important. Okay, please remember this. Aquatic habitats are consisting of excess concentration of phosphorus. Remember this. Aquatic habitat means water will be consisting of excess concentration of phosphorus. More amount of phosphorus is present in the aquatic habitats. The question is now, from where and how this concentration is increasing, phosphorus concentration is increasing in the aquatic habitats? It is here, obtained from soil wash. Maybe because of the heavy rain, when the soil is being undergoing soil wash, when it is carried, all that phosphorus that is there in the soil will be collected and brought into the water now. Water bodies. So that's why we say aquatic habitats. Aquatic habitats are consisting of excess concentration of phosphorus. How is it? Because of the soil wash. When the soil is washed, means when due to the heavy rains, when the rain falls, when the water starts moving, it starts collecting all the phosphorus that is there in the soil and carries it into the water bodies, that is aquatic habitats. And also please remember, it is also because of what? Industrial waste. It is also because of the industrial waste and as well as the detergents. So because of the industrial waste and because of the usage of detergents, there is so much of this phosphorus which is brought and added into the aquatic habitats. Now let us see how it is used and released. Okay, how it is used and released. So now the soil, in the soil, okay, phosphate is present in the insoluble form. Okay, phosphate is present in insoluble form. Please remember. Okay, phosphate is present in insoluble form in the soil. Okay, in the soil. Now this insoluble phosphate that is present in the soil, okay, should be converted into dissolved phosphate. Then only it is easy for the plants to absorb this, okay, phosphate. It cannot be absorbed when it is in insoluble state. So that's why there will be some chemicals that will be released by the microbes and as well as the plants. Okay, the plant roots and the microbes that are there present in the soil, they will be releasing the chemicals. So these chemicals are involved in converting the insoluble phosphate into dissolved phosphate. Okay, the chemicals that are released by the microorganisms and the plants will convert the insoluble phosphate into dissolved phosphate. This is all happening where? In the soil. Okay, in the soil. So right after that, now it is easy for the dissolved phosphate to be absorbed by the plants. Okay, it is easy for the plants to absorb the dissolved phosphate. And then the plants will be converting this particular dissolved phosphate into organic form. Okay, it will be converted into organic form. This is how it is used and released. Okay, this is how it is used and released. And here we also should remember, at some point of time when there is deficiency of phosphorus, in the soil, phosphorus is also added as in the form of phosphate as fertilizers into the soil. So phosphate fertilizers are added into the soil, and this phosphate is available for the plants to use this phosphate. And now what are the good source? So now we are saying that there are chances that there may be deficiency of what? Phosphorus in certain soil, because it is continuously used. How it is replaced? Either by various ways that we have seen, or otherwise the phosphate fertilizers are added into the soil. But what are the good sources of this phosphate? Now it is lake soil. Please remember, lake soil or ocean beds or ocean soil. Okay, ocean bed we say generally. Ocean bed is very rich in containing the phosphate. Okay, rich in containing the phosphate. Remember, the good sources of phosphorus is lake soil or ocean soil. Ocean bed we say. But otherwise, very interesting point we have to keep in mind is that the guano. Okay, it's a marine bird. Okay, marine bird. Guano, the excreta of this particular bird called as guano consists of lot of amount of phosphorus. So this also an important point we should keep in mind. Okay, name the bird, that is the excreta which contain in which name the bird in which the excreta of that bird which is rich in containing phosphorus means you have to remember that it is the guano. Okay, guano bird. The excreta of this marine bird consists of so much amount of the phosphorus or phosphate we say. Now, likewise, as we already said that insoluble state, okay, insoluble phosphate cannot be used by the plants. It cannot be used by the plants. So that's why there are some chemicals that are released by the microbes and the plants which will react or act upon the insoluble phosphate and convert into dissolved phosphate. Then what the plants are doing? They will be absorbing this dissolved phosphate. Okay, they will be absorbing the dissolved phosphate. So when they absorb this dissolved phosphate, they will be converting it into organic form, we are saying. Okay, they are converting it into organic form. Now from there, if you see, now the phosphorus is there in organic form. It is there present in the plants as organic form, not inorganic, organic form. Now that, okay, organic form of the phosphate, okay, enters through various food chains through what? The animals. Okay, through various food chains through the animals, it will be entering into various food chains through animals. It enters into the various food chains. Okay, it enters through the into the various food chains. So here animal excretions. Okay, another point. We said now the organic form of the phosphate is now taken up by different types of animals in different food chains. Okay. Now in the same way, when the air in the animal excretions, okay, animal excretions and as well as the dead bodies of organisms, Now even in our body, when we are dead, okay, it is rich in what now? Phosphate or phosphorus we say. So animal excretions or dead bodies of organisms in the presence of the decomposers, it will be converted into what now? Again phosphorus. The phosphate is again, it is converted into simple form, that is the phosphorus. Now, so point you have to remember is that by decomposition, by the decomposers, some of the organisms, okay, microbes, they will be converting the animal excreta and also the dead bodies of organisms into phosphorus. Okay, and this phosphorus is again available to the plants. This phosphorus is now present in the soil, so it is now easily available for the plants. Again, the plants will be absorbing this phosphorus and they will be converting it into organic form, and then they will be again taken up by the animals. And now it is there inbuilt in the animals, and either in the animal excreta or the dead bodies. Now when they are dead, of course dead bodies we are saying, due to the decomposition process by the decomposers, again phosphorus is now added into the soil, which is again taken up by the plants, So see, these points we should keep in mind, okay, especially about the good source. Okay, what are the good sources of this phosphorus? Now let us quickly see some other interesting points regarding this phosphorus cycle. Now, as we have seen some of the most important points, now here's other simple points we will see. Inside the soil, some phosphorus is lost through leaching. Okay, Please remember this. Okay. Now, as the rain falls, now most of the phosphorus that is there, it starts seeping down and down and down into the into the core of the earth, which is not now available for recycling process, So that process we are calling it as what? Leaching we are calling it as, okay? Leaching. But here sufficient amount of phosphorus combines with what? Calcium, iron and aluminium, okay? There is some amount we are saying that it is seeping down by the process called as leaching we are saying, but most of it is now combined with what? Either with the calcium, iron or aluminium and becomes insoluble. Okay, when it is there present with calcium, iron and aluminium, it is now in insoluble form. Okay, now at the same time we are saying now that this particular phosphorus will also settles down at the bottom of the lake or ocean as what? As forming as a bed, that is sediment. Okay, it forms as a sediment deep inside the lakes or oceans. Okay, at the bottom of the lakes or at the bottom of the ocean, it settles as the sediment. Okay, so that's why we said that lakes and oceans are rich in containing phosphorus. We already covered that point. Okay, and remember, it is also there, we already covered this point also, that it is also there present in the bones and teeth, which may also remain undergraded, which cannot be destroyed. Okay, So here all this is there now present, okay, in various ways, but it can be obtained either by mining also. Okay, now it is now not available we say, but it can be obtained by what? Mining process. Okay, either by mining process they can obtain this, or otherwise by weathering of rocks it can be again obtained. So these are simple points that we have to keep in mind. And if it is not by weathering and mining, it settles down and as part of the lithosphere, Now we will see the differences between carbon cycle and phosphorus cycle. Okay, the differences between carbon cycle and phosphorus cycle. So in order to understand this, we just have to recap what we studied. Now, carbon cycle and phosphorus cycle. its major component is gaseous. Okay, the carbon cycle is taking place in gaseous state. Its major is non-gaseous. It is not in gaseous cycle process it will be taking place. Its major is in non-gaseous. Its major it is in gaseous form. There is a respiratory release of carbon as carbon dioxide. Okay, during the respiration process, carbon in the form of carbon dioxide it is released, but there is no respiratory release of phosphorus. There is no respiratory release of phosphorus, and its cycling pool is present in hydrosphere and the atmosphere, but here it is only in lithosphere we are saying. Okay, it is because the major one is the lithosphere we are saying. Atmosphere input of carbon. Okay, atmosphere input of carbon through rainfall is applicable. There are chances that the atmosphere input of carbon can take place even because of the rainfall, but here it is negligible. It is negligible, we say. So these are simple differences that we have to keep in mind when we discuss about the carbon cycle and phosphorus cycle. In quick, we will be seeing the flow chart of the phosphorus cycle now. Now here there is a simple model of phosphorus cycle. Okay, there is a simple model of phosphorus cycle which we are going to go through this now. So here, by the action of microbes, okay, by the action of microbes, okay, means the microbes, by the action of producers means plants, okay, let us say like this, by the action of microbes and plants means microbes and plants are releasing some chemicals we are saying. Okay, they are releasing the chemicals. These chemicals are converting the insoluble phosphate into dissolved phosphate so that it is easily available for the plants. Then the plants will be converting this phosphate into organic form, and from these plants it is now the phosphate which is entering into various, okay, into different types of animals through various food chains we are saying. Okay, that's what we are saying. So here if we are clearly observing this model of phosphorus cycle, another point we have to remember, that is the weathering. Microbes and plants are involved in releasing the chemicals to convert the phosphate, insoluble phosphate into soluble phosphate. At the same time, from the rocks, okay, from the rocks, by a process called as what? Weathering. Okay, by a process called as weathering, the phosphate is added. The phosphate is added, we are saying. Now see here carefully. Now let us come by the process, the major process. Of course, it is a very slow process. We said weathering of rocks. Okay. Now the rock minerals, means rocks which are rich in containing this phosphorus, undergoes a process called as what? Weathering. Because of weathering, the major, okay, component that is formed is the soil, which is now rich in the phosphate or phosphorus we say. Now because of weathering of the rocks, soil solution means containing what now? The phosphate, okay, containing the phosphate. But because of the action of what? The producers, means plants, okay, plants, the insoluble phosphate is converted into dissolved phosphate. So it is taken by or taken by the producers, means nothing but what here? Producers are nothing but the plants, okay, producers are the plants. So producers are acting upon that insoluble phosphate and they are converting, they are absorbing it, and now producers are converting it into organic form now. So phosphorus in the form of phosphate, organic form, in organic form, it is there now present in the producers. Now producers, okay, as we said, through various food chains, okay, producers, from the producers into different types of animals, okay, the phosphorus is entering, or the phosphate is entering into the different types of animals through various food chains. All those animals we are calling them as what? Consumers. It is herbivores, carnivores, omnivores, including the decomposers. We are calling them as what? Consumers. So from the producers, what is there now in the producers? It is the phosphate. From where it is obtained? From the soil solution. Into the soil solution, from where this phosphate is obtained? By weathering process from the rocks. Now it is there in the producers. From there it is now entering into the consumers, different types of animals, entering into different food chains now. Phosphate is entering into the food chains. After entering into the consumers, now there may be chances that there is compulsorily it will be forming the detritus, means dead organic matter. Every consumer will be dying. So it will be forming as what now? Dead organic matter. So when it forms as the dead organic matter, that we are calling it as the detritus. Okay, that is one. Please remember it as the dead organic matter. Detritus is dead organic matter, which also here it undergoes decomposition process by decompose called as detrivores. Detrivores. Best examples are earthworms, we say. Detritus. Now here the litter that falls means the leaves. Okay, any part of the plant that when it falls, when it is dead and falls, it is now called as what? Detritus. Now that detritus formed from the consumers and also from the plants, okay, forms as the decomposition process. So here now through the decomposition process, okay, it is again entering into what now? Into the soil. Okay, it is again entering into the soil solution. Okay, entering into the soil solution. And after entering into the soil solution, again it is now available for the producers. Again available for the producers. So in this way, okay, it will be the phosphorus cycle will be taking place. But make note one point, that is there is some amount of this phosphorus that is now running off. It is not available. Okay, it is not available anymore by process called as what? Leaching, we are saying. Okay, by a process called as leaching. It is not available anymore. So this is a simple model of phosphorus cycle that we have to keep in mind. So based on this, we will be looking at some other, okay, objective part which will be essential for both CET and NEET. Thank you.